What?
I said be a princess. It's your chance.
Shove you off.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
That's the end of me.
Can you edit some like waves?
Last
into
one
the
here,
intro?
first one to leave.
Speaking. Okay, actually, that's just part of the
really?
review. All right.
Bye, Annabeth.
All right. Bye, Annabeth.
We were just about to cue it up.
Welcome to a suddenly started episode of the F Movie Podcast. We're your hosts, Annabeth, Jill, Nathan, Dylan, and Mason. In that order. Oh wow, I got all.
You got it.
Something about that just, man, all right. I just
Clicked.
Yeah, I did. All right. Sometimes you get those times. On today's episode, what movie are we talking about, Nathan?
The Adventures of
You already messed it up, man.
Banzai.
Banzai
Bambi.
Buckaroo.
Banzai Buckaroo.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo
That's
Banzai
it.
across the eighth dimension.
Dimension, that's right.
Yeah.
Not galaxy.
We can't even
We
say
promised.
the title of the movie.
We promised we all watched this film.
Yeah.
But Nathan's gonna put the title right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As actually,
right.
that would be
He's
great
also
if
gonna
every
describe
word that you did
every
just
moment.
came out.
You know,
Of this.
it'll be in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
It'll be the name of the.
It'll be the
bit.
name of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the video.
You know what?
And by right here, I mean right there in
Yeah,
the description.
Just below. No, description. That's
Or-
Mason's show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
be sure to
Mason's-
check our description.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Especially
stuff.
for the past year or so.
That's where all of our information, our handles are, and it's all up to date.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get creative with those.
I'm sure you did. I want to go back to like the first 10 movies and see what the
Like,
descriptions
oh
are.
my gosh,
Honestly, I
remember
don't
when
even
there
know
was
if they go as far as the first 10.
I don't know.
I'd be
I
surprised.
can't remember.
I think it stops after Phone Booth,
Probably.
which is our third movie or something. Anyways, Nathan, you're tasked with the horrific obligation of trying to describe what this movie is. Please give us insights. What is this movie about?
I mean, it's pretty simply about a really smart dude who's got like this whole organization that he's kind of running. He's like a brain surgeon and all sorts of other stuff. And he decides to basically try and traverse through other dimensions of reality via a modified old pickup truck, like tiny pickup truck.
It was a wrecker. It was like a Ford wrecker.
Yeah, it was a very interesting looking vehicle, but he drives it into a mountain and passes through the eighth dimension, accidentally picks up like some hangers-on that are space Nazis, and
Happens.
Hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Yeah, this vehicle had no business going 500 miles an hour. That's what I was like. That's why I noticed it and I was like, that thing tows other cars.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why they chose
Yeah,
that to
everything
strap
about
a
that
jet
vehicle was not built to be like a high performance machine.
Right.
Because he's gonna tow some aliens into this dimension.
Yeah.
He did.
And
to.
he
They
did.
kind of look like toads too.
Right. Do you? I mean, I don't know. Part of me wants to say like maybe it was a budget thing, but this movie has enough kind of like prolific actors, and I mean the argument could be we spent all our money on those.
That was the budget.
That's why we don't have money for a car that would make sense to be going this fast.
I mean, they did a lot of good work with costuming, set design. There's a lot going on in this film.
yeah. I mean, it's
I was
Yeah, the watermelon
surprised.
was great set design.
the water.
Yes, the watermelon.
Perfect. Real quick. And I know this is like, what year is this movie? 80.
It's like 84.
Yeah, it was. I know it was earlier to close to mid 80s. But I won't excuse how birdemically bad the CG is at times.
When the spaceship was like flying through the it was like the miniature spaceship.
It was the mini
Oh,
one.
one
that
that got
was-
shot at.
And
Right.
every time I see stuff like that in these old movies, I think modern day movie production crews are too much of a coward to put something that doesn't look amazing on screen.
Yeah.
Like, they knew it didn't look that great, but they
And
were
they
just
still let
trying
it
to
slide.
like
Yeah.
sell you the idea of the scene. They didn't care that it was obviously not amazing. That was fine.
Back
Wait,
then.
so you think that modern movies should just
Do something bad on purpose.
have
like lean into it.
things that
No.
look bad? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's
All right.
saying.
I try to
Like,
defend him.
it's-
Yeah,
Like,
there's no
look,
defense.
Take the bold step of just like trying to trying to show the idea of something, even if you can't like make it look amazing.
You're-
Like that's
But
fine.
what
You're
if
saying
you
put the
could
JV
make
team
it
in.
look-
Yeah.
Put the JV team in there. Just ever so often let them get some playing time.
I think that makes sense if you have like an indie film or something like that, and it's like this is the best like CG you have available to you. And it's like maybe sometimes if it's that bad nowadays, they just be like, well, we're just not gonna do
Well,
CG.
also, I don't
Yeah.
think it was CG. It was like,
I mean,
Well,
it
yeah.
was
like
like
taped over.
practical. It was
Yeah.
like practical props.
It
It was
was-
just like a little spaceship on like a fishing line.
It was
kinda
definitely
thing.
flimsy practical.
Yeah, but there are a lot of old movies that do practical effects really well,
Really-
though.
really
so
well.
You don't have to do bad
What I
just
like to
because you
say-
want to use practical
can,
effects.
and it's
But you sh-
fine.
Just let the imagination fill the gaps. If I
That's
was
the thing. Yeah, be a little more. Leave
No.
something to the imagination for the audience.
I think you're talking about theater. Because in movies, you can do more things.
in theater, this is where you leave the imagination.
Suspension of disbelief is more of a thing, like,
While we're on the
in
stage.
other mediums,
we
but
only
with
have so
movies,
much.
like nowadays,
Yeah,
you
it
can
could
do all
be in
kinds of
movies.
stuff.
Now
You
they
can do
could
it in
they could
movies, too.
digitally put us in there, AI over our voices.
I
We've
hate
never
it.
even been on set.
Oh, have you heard about how Facebook's going to be using people's likenesses to sell them ads? Like
Oh.
your face is going to be in ads
Oh, that'd be crazy.
To sell to me or other people?
to sell to you.
To sell.
Maybe other people.
So
you
you'll
don't
be
know.
holding like
Yeah.
a package of like Huggies.
Yeah.
You'll be like, Jill, do you need any?
Yeah,
Sell
diapers.
myself diapers.
Yeah.
You can sell yourself diapers.
Nathan said
on
it. I didn't
Facebook,
say
in
it.
Facebook,
I'm thinking of all
everything's
the
possible.
really bad things that they could do with this.
Uh-huh.
Like, they can see, like, how many times someone visits your profile. So if someone visits your profile a lot, what's to stop them from using your likeness to advertise to someone who looks at your Facebook?
Or
a
someone
lot?
you
stalking
give them
That's
a
so
library
freaking
of
creepy.
photos to work from.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
Like Annabeth likes Starbucks.
Right.
Therefore, we're
She's just got like a
Yeah,
cup in
it's
her
me or
hand.
the Starbucks
Right.
cup.
I mean, honestly, that photo may just be in your photos, to be
It may
honest.
be,
Like,
but yeah, they'd have a really easy
they
time.
just
with
crop
it.
the
That would be
background. and
Oh
just
my
put-
gosh, if
It's a
they
short
ever wanted me
afternoon.
to
Yeah.
be in like a Kraft mac and cheese ad,
Yeah.
they've
yeah.
got a lot to work with there.
So CG and Facebook aside, let's get back on track.
Right.
So I don't know where to start.
Right? Where do you start in a movie like this?
I mean, if we start hitting plot points, it starts to get all over the place by like the
I feel
chronological
like, I feel
telling
like
of
you
the
could hit
scene.
a pretty basic premise plot point of there's a scientist
Mhm.
like quite a while further back from like our current timeline that does find a way to kind of get into the eighth dimension, but he gets stuck, and while he is like stuck in the wall,
the aliens just kind of like
and-
rattle his
just rattle
brain.
and the
Yeah.
alien
Yeah.
just like rubbing all over him, and one of them possesses him, which is Space Hitler.
Is
Yeah.
that's what that was? It was like
Yeah.
possession.
Is
okay.
that-
I thought they
I
just
thought
smacked
he
him
just
around a
kind
little
of went
bit.
crazy
Yeah, I mean,
from being in the
it
eighth
was
dimension.
kind of clear he was supposed to be an alien by the end, but
Yeah,
like
he
how
did
he got
become
to
an
be that way,
alien.
very
It would make a
unclear.
lot more sense that he was possessed, though,
it-
because they accepted him.
I feel like
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point they do
Forgot he
kind
was a
of
scientist after a while.
yeah, like he was the scientist that was trying to discover something incredible and was possessed.
See, here's maybe the best part about the movie. There's so many things that are so subjective and ambiguous based on the chaotic storytelling of this movie that we can't even decide if it was he went crazy or if it was possessed.
I don't even think it was intentionally open-ended.
Take
It was
notes,
just like,
Christopher
you know
Nolan.
what?
But yeah.
He's halfway in a wall. What do you want?
What do you
It
want?
was just
So-
confusing.
Right.
But
I mean,
like,
it picks up with him like in an insane asylum, and then he just like he sees that somebody else has finally gone through the eighth dimension, and that's whenever like the possession of him really like takes hold, and he's like, oh, this is my chance to get back, like the alien that had taken control of him,
yeah.
and he starts organizing his crew of red aliens.
And he kills Mike.
Yeah.
He kills Breaking Bad guy. He
Yeah.
kills the
Mhm.
community dude.
Who?
He's like not the prison guard. What is he? He's the hospital guard.
yeah, he's
Yeah, like the hospital
Hospital
ward
guard
that
on
he
the-
kills
on
when
the
he's
phone.
breaking out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, he goes into that whole thing with you keep getting cuts of this massive alien spaceship monitoring Earth from out in space,
Mhm.
and those are the black aliens. And
Every time we say it, I cringe a little.
that's what they're called.
That
It's
is
the
their-
red, the black aliens.
That is their official name.
Yep, the red aliens
And
and the black aliens.
They've got a Rastafarian accent, of
Mm.
course.
Making it worse. Okay,
Strange.
maybe we don't. Maybe we say
You
less
don't-
about
you
the
don't
black
wanna
aliens.
cover everything.
Like the whole
But
condo.
anyway,
Say
they
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
they threaten our main character, telling him that if he does not stop the red aliens, that they will destroy Earth, because the possessed scientist has their equivalent to Hitler, because instead of killing Hitler on their planet, they sent him to the 8th dimension to imprison him, and they're now potentially escaping and going back to the 10th planet, which
Planet
I'm
10.
just confused
Planet
how, like,
10 in the 8th
how
dimension.
how can
Yeah.
like if Hitler got away and then shows back up in Germany, does Germany suddenly go like, well, he's back, all right, well, he's in charge again? I don't know. Like,
You think that's
I
gonna
don't
be
see the
the?
threat here, but
Yeah.
I think you picked up much more of the plot of this movie than I did.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
Man, I appreciate this.
Well,
Yeah,
I know,
we need
but
it.
I
I watched
also
this
am hearing
less
like
than
the
36 hours
question
ago.
in
Yeah.
Nathan's voice as he continues to explain. He's like, and the 10th planet. You know, none of us know what we're explaining, really.
No, I'm here for it.
You're
I
solid
know what's going
on
on.
this
Yeah.
movie. Okay.
He had at least one eyeball on this screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow got more than the people with 2 eyeballs.
Yeah,
on
so-
I meant the message that I sent to the group chat. This movie was trying to be over my head so hard.
And it worked.
It almost worked.
Yeah.
It might have worked. It might have gotten me.
So
I mean, there's
that's
just a lot going on.
There's
a lot.
With a lot
It's
of
very
people.
chaotic.
There's
Like, we've got a whole party of adventurers on the side of the good team too.
right.
Yeah.
So just
And they're a band.
quick recap, and I know I'm not gonna
Best
hit every
part.
single person, but let's just hit like a handful of notable characters. We have the president. I mean, for
The president is pretty fucking
the
funny.
president's funny.
President.
Like
He's
him
the
on
first
the
one.
like back inversion
Yeah.
table the whole
Was
time.
there a joke we missed with why he was on that thing?
I don't think so. He
I
was
just
just.
I think he
they
just
thought
was
it
Yeah,
funny.
what
Yeah.
was that?
Because
Just
I thought he was
have you
completely
never
crippled.
seen that before?
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
a back and it's
it's
supposed
like
to
a thing
help
that you
relieve
like invert
spine.
yourself to help with your spine.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna
And he
get
was
one.
But
for
he
there.
was
Christmas.
suspended
My
on it,
mom-
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
different.
hear good things.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I'll have you over. You can play on it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I
you
mean,
could be the president.
for notable characters, we have the president, that one girl that looks like his wife, and that isn't. But then she gets locked up in jail. You know the one,
yeah.
the sad
Yeah,
one, Penny.
the-
one that was
Peggy.
gonna kill
The one
herself
that
and
was
got
the
arrested.
twin
Yeah.
of the.
It's just a random
Yeah.
He was
shot.
previously married to like the princess of a country,
country.
that
That too.
like it was a country that begins with a D in
Yeah.
Europe, and she looked like the twin, and then they
Mm.
like he's just like you were like a twin that disappeared, like when they were young or something.
Yeah,
it's
like
just-
she says she was adopted, and then it's like, oh, you were the twin of this woman that was married
Buckaroo's
to him.
like,
Yeah.
of course. Why
Yeah.
didn't I see it before?
Let her
It
out
was
of
so
jail.
strange though, because like
She also
You
is
never
like
got any-
mid song about to kill herself.
Yeah.
You know, like it's this movie.
And
is
people are vibing with that
insane.
song.
Yeah, they're like hell yeah.
I was vibing with it.
Uh huh.
but you never get anything about like
Her really.
Buckaroo's wife, and then it's just like, but here's her twin.
Yeah.
Good enough.
So in it,
This movie picks up like 5 seasons into something that's been ongoing for a while.
It
Yeah.
does. It feels
Yeah,
like a
that's what it
Doctor
felt
Who
like.
It doesn't really
situation.
catch you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
no, and it never tries to, and it's like get good, fucking cat.
Yeah, get good or
Listen,
get out.
this horse only knows how to move forward. All right, we do not go backwards.
And quickly.
Yeah, and you only get quick shots of things from behind. It's like, wait, was that a picture of his old wife? Oh, too late. We're moving.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
never see that again.
We're moving. We're moving forward. And then we have like a whole bunch of like his crew that's also bands that are also government scientists type people or something. They work like
Dude, that van that they drive around in has everything in it.
yeah.
It has everything that you can imagine.
And
for-
Jeff Goldblum rightfully doesn't know who the hell is who because I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Which honestly, my firm belief is that he walked on set and they said, just say, this is banter, and that whenever he's doing a name thing, he truly has no idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's all improv.
Yeah.
I'm so
Probably.
convinced.
They also told him pick any. They didn't tell him the plot of the movie. They said pick anything to wear
Yeah.
and
Yes.
show up on set at 9:00.
And this was his
Like, you're
Tuesday
a
playing the
doctor
tire.
dressed like a cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even tell him he's a doctor. Just
Yeah.
let him choose his own wardrobe. He's like, I
Isn't
think
he from
cowboy.
like Detroit or something too.
Yeah,
He's
from
somewhere that
yeah.
makes no sense.
No.
He kept
He's
saying
like a
Detroit.
cowboy.
Yeah.
Or New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New
That's what it was.
Jersey.
New
was
Jersey.
yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
It was a shitty place to live.
Because he was like, he's a neurosurgeon with Buckaroo Banzai, and then he's like, hey, you want to join my band or whatever?
Right.
And then he shows up as a cowboy. He
Right.
just dresses up as a cowboy. Because
Like fur too over his chaps.
Fur
like
spurs.
white fur chaps, red button up.
Right.
Yeah,
you
a
just
couple
need a
white
picture
stripes
of
like
him in the
Yeah.
thumbnail of this video.
I mean, it probably
That should be the
That's gotta be
thumbnail.
the one.
Yeah.
I mean that's like Zardoz with Sean Connery in his outfit.
Yeah.
Like very iconic look.
With the
Has to be
red
the
light.
cover. Right. In the midst, I mean, and just to wind down this little segment, just random other ones that are also relevant throughout the whole time. You have Mr. Krabby Patty. Oh my god.
Clancy Brown.
Thank you.
Mr. Krabby
Mr. Krabs. That's for you, Price. God rest his soul.
Mike. Mike from Breaking Bad.
Mike from Breaking Bad.
And
We have all
Community.
and there's still so many characters that gets.
Well, there's all the Johns too.
Oh yeah, all
Oh.
the Johns with the birth certificates.
John Big Booty.
John Smallberries.
Small Berries.
John
Carter.
Yaya.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
Was John Carter one of them?
Probably.
John Connor.
Connor. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think so. That's Terminator.
well, that's the
But
thing
that's
that's
the-
so
that's
funny
the
about
part.
it.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Wink, they said.
Yeah.
At the
Wink, they
Terminator.
said.
Yeah.
Mm.
All these characters have a lot of lines and do some stuff, and I don't know how much it serves the greater plot altogether with it, but they are on screen, and they do get speak. You know what? This is like if I made a movie and we all made a movie. Like none of us are getting less than 5s. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
we're all getting a notable amount of screen time for no good reason, even if it's in fact adhering against the plot.
This was
Yeah.
basically like if a director was like, I've got about 50 friends, and I want every one of them to
Yeah.
have movie
Yeah.
I can't
credits
show
on
favoritism.
IMDb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm gonna.
Everybody's
do it.
getting the equal amount too because they said I have 5 more words than Mason and he threw a fit. So
Or whoever can show up the most, that's who's going to be on the screen the most.
Yes.
Because that's what this movie really felt like.
That's
Right?
true.
It's like
Felt like
whoever walked onto the
Yes.
set that day, they were like, okay, come on in.
That's
You're
the
a
scene we're
scientist.
shooting.
Yep. The
Yeah.
president was not available nearly as much as everyone else, therefore he got less screen time.
Right.
So
He had hurt his back before shooting.
Yeah.
So they just
So,
they
well,
put him
now
into
we
the
gotta put him
inversion
on
chair,
this.
Yeah.
and they just didn't choose to elaborate whatsoever. They're like, it's probably only like the 6th weirdest point of this movie, relatively speaking, on it.
This movie it goes and goes with just so many weird things happening, like the pod landing on the planet and the 2 hunters coming up to it.
Yeah.
the reverse Men in Black
Yeah.
type aspect where like
Yeah,
the aliens are
aliens.
the ones basically like flashing the humans to like
Right.
get them to forget.
I will say the one part that for whatever reason I thought was gonna happen but didn't. When they're at the lab government agency whatever office and they get the hologram and they're all watching it.
And they've got bubble wrap.
Yeah.
This is
And
The
the
fun.
girl
wrap.
comes in, she's like, oh wow, this
yeah.
is crazy, and then it's just bubble wrap.
Right. All of those masks and all of that was one thing, but I think the part where like the hologram is talking and
The Wakanda woman.
yes, and as they're talking with her, I don't know why I thought it was going to do this really cool thing where like she has this like program hologram speech and they're like, oh, broadcast, right? And then she's just like, oh no, this is live, I can interact with you. And I thought it was going to be like a horror turn a little bit and like that was going to be cool because
That would've been cool.
at this
Yeah.
point, we haven't really established how bad the black aliens are in this film.
The black aliens were the good guys.
They were,
Yeah.
but at this point, they don't come off as good
okay,
guys.
here's the thing.
Yeah, at first
Like,
they're like, we're gonna.
They're
build
not
a planet.
really good guys because they
Yeah.
were threatening to blow our planet
could-
up
they
over
could
something
kill us.
that is
Yeah.
really their fault.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of bullshit.
yeah. Fix our mess, or we'll blow up your planet.
But they
It
gotta
took me way
stop
too long
space
to realize
Hitler.
the aliens are 2 different aliens in the movie because they look basically the same.
So,
But
right.
They
it's
were.
slightly different
Slightly
skin
different
Right.
tint, but
Slightly.
like you don't catch that they're supposed to be different. It's like what's going
It's
on?
the Rastafarian accent. That's
Yeah.
how you're
Yeah,
supposed to
that's how
know.
you're supposed to know.
I mean, maybe that's on
Ugh.
purpose because it's
Also-
supposed to be an homage to the fact that we shouldn't judge people by their skin color so much.
Ah.
Yes, they definitely thought that deeply when they were writing this movie.
Nathan said, hear me out.
Yeah.
This movie is trying to show us, hold up a mirror to us and say, maybe we should look at yourselves before you cast judgment on other people.
What do we think those aliens were doing on those very high
The
tables?
very high tables. I
Yeah.
love that set.
Yeah.
Like that piece of set is awesome.
That's what you need in your bedroom.
Oh, I would love that.
Some
Yeah.
Super
pedestals.
tall chair and
Yeah,
super tall
they were
table.
so-
That's fantastic.
I looked at that and I said, that's how I feel when I go to a restaurant and they
Right.
just have the tall
Just
tables
the high
available.
tops.
Yeah,
I'm
they
just
got the
like,
high
whoa,
top
my little
table.
feet dangling.
Hannah says the same thing, and she's like 9 out of 10 times will refuse if they're like, "Hey, you can go sit over at the high top," and she's just like, "No."
Too high.
Yeah, she's just like, I just feel like
Like,
you know.
unless the chair has a footrest on it, it's a no.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're just dangling like the space
aliens.
aliens.
Really either, but
I know. Who is this for? Who were high
I
tops
love
for?
them. I think they're fantastic. You could
Shut up.
stand.
They're for Mason.
You
They're
can
for
well,
stand.
okay, you
You
can
can stand
at
and
them.
eat at them, but how many times are people standing?
Why
at
do
these
you
times?
want to stand and eat? Are you a horse?
Yeah. All right, Mr. Ed.
That's probably the
Next
funniest
time we
thing I've
go-
ever heard Annabeth say. And this is still the reaction. that she
Yeah.
gets.
Oh, I'm not very funny.
she didn't follow it up with the Mr. Ed comment. See, she needed to double down.
That would've been
That
it.
would have got you. No. See, he didn't watch cartoons. He watched old 80s adult shows.
Don't think Mr. Ed is from the 80s, but yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Anyways, so...
It's a lot older.
Yeah, this is much older. Anyway,
listen.
enough about Mr. Ed. Over here.
I guess.
Yeah.
So the set, I will say this though, the makeup and set designs were not bad. I mean, this movie has more of a budget than it definitely deserves to have. Like based on the actors there, and then the makeup and the budget and effects. I mean, well, okay, some of the effects. You know, some of them are pretty whack, but like the sparks and the gunshot, you know, the pyrotechnic stuff on it that kind of comes up here and there. All comes out really well actually. And I don't know who they scammed to do it.
They clearly thought that there would be more of these because the
Yeah.
like kind of post-credit scene of them all walking up together.
Oh my god.
That was like setting up for like
Buckaroo Banzai too.
It
So-
also seemed like there was 10 before this, and there was 10 after.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like part of a series that didn't
Also,
exist.
talking about like credit scenes, like the entry level credits, like the Star Wars sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah,
Crawl.
If you want to talk about you jumping in 5 seasons into any show,
Right.
that was your recap.
Yeah.
If you missed any of that, you're toast.
I promise I read every bit of it, and the entire time I kept reading it, and my brain was just like, I must be having
I
was
like,
nervous.
I did read all of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what it said.
No,
Yeah.
not a bit.
Something about Buckaroo Banzai was a brilliant neuroscientist, and then he got bored and started a band.
Yeah.
But
And he
continued
has
to be a brilliant
connections everywhere.
neuroscientist.
Right. He's the most well-connected and objectively powerful man in the world, where even the president has to be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
call Buckaroo.
Speaking of that, Buckaroo never phased.
No.
Even when like the bomb was about to go off,
Yes.
he was like, "Oh, well, this just isn't ideal, is it?" And then he would just like get straight to work. And they were hopping in their van and driving across however far they
Truly
needed
a
to
man
go.
who has seen things. You know?
Well, and like
I mean, he's been to the 8th dimension.
Yeah.
he's like the Jason Bourne or the guy from Mission Impossible. Like he's all of this stuff combined. Plus he plays music
Right.
and can operate on a brain.
And has one very specific type of woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very specific.
If she goes, I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He goes to the 9th dimension.
No,
and
he
find
goes to
that
Rawhide.
Yeah.
Oh, Rawhide. Yeah, I guess that.
The
makes
Clancy
sense.
Brown.
Yeah.
No, wait. That
Yeah.
wasn't the bromance. It was
No,
the
that
bleach
was-
blonde
it was
guy.
the bleach
Oh,
blonde guy.
Perfect
Which I-
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
He
I
is
can't remember.
perfect.
That
It
was the
perfect
best thing.
something, but yeah.
It was
that-
perfect Tommy.
Yeah.
He's like, "'Cause you're perfect," and then they share that little smile.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
like,
you're right.
Yeah, you're right. All over it. Here's my jacket. And then she has his jacket on in
Yeah.
the next scene.
Mm.
Fat, thin, perfectly fit.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't know how to
like,
further.
I mean,
I-
do we want to
spaghetti,
even
I
like
don't
grab
know.
it? I mean, it's all over the place.
You know-
like you're either gonna
Was-
enjoy this
so-
trip or you're not. I
So
don't know.
was
Yeah.
was that guy? Was he bad at the very end? The guy where like the little black kid was like holding him at shotgun point.
Yeah,
Oh,
the kid
yeah.
that
Who
got
was
a gun.
that? What did he do?
I don't know who he was.
I don't know.
either.
Who he was.
I thought I missed something.
He came off as a guy that we feel like we should know.
I thought
I
you were
thought
supposed
he
to
was
know.
in with
or-
Buckaroo's crew. And
That's what I
why-
thought
Yeah.
too. I thought he
It
was a
was
good
like,
guy,
wait, is he evil?
and he was trying to steal some. He was trying to steal the overthruster, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the Asian The old
No.
Asian man?
No.
No.
What am
He
I-
was
what
like a
am I thinking
lieutenant,
of?
like
The
the
guy who like
shorter.
snuck onto the base by himself, who was
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So he was a member of the U.S. military and was wanting to get a hold of that technology for the military and
when was that
circumvent
established?
Banzai.
It was
So he was
established.
talking to the president
Yo,
and
yeah,
like trying to
yeah.
convince him to
It's not like general
circumvent
talk.
Buckaroo and just take the tech for the U.S. government, that it shouldn't be in his hands.
Just more of a grab heist kind of thing. Just an
Yeah.
extra set of hands to try to grab this super important piece of equipment, I guess.
Nathan, in 3 words or less, can you tell me which country was the one that contracted Buckaroo for this job in the first place?
Which country?
Yeah, which, you know, it would have been
It wasn't
America,
Russia.
because the president
Yeah.
called him and
Yeah.
said, hey, go do this.
Yeah.
And also, them, hey, we're going to plant a spy in this one to get what we want.
Oh,
Make that make
so
sense. It's the same person.
I
who-
see what you're.
Yeah.
It's like you paid for him to do it, but also you
You're
want
also
to take
s-
the tech from him.
Slightly sabotaging and doing this, which to be fair is a pretty
Well,
American.
They
so
just
they were-
wanted to make sure
you
they
know,
had their hands on it.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
Americans
Double
got their hands
dipping.
in every pie.
They do.
Because also they were paying the aliens to build stuff for them as well.
Yeah.
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 That's why he was able to like storm in there and act like he was all in charge, because he was paying for them to like have this whole operation on the go anyway.
Missed that too.
Yeah, I won't lie.
I feel like I missed a lot of
I
I
things.
missed
missed
this
a
one.
lot.
Yeah. Between all 5 of our viewing experiences, we were
I-
able to put together
we-
this
yeah,
movie.
we
I
put
like
something
was
together.
playing a video game and watching this.
we
and
know.
Did not miss a beat.
I like to think that I was paying
I-
very close.
I never do anything but watch these movies. When I sit down and watch
Yeah.
these movies, it's me in that movie. That's
Yeah.
it. And I promise you, I took away less than Nathan did from this
So I
experience.
think that maybe because of the strange, confusing nature of the movie, you just have to like dissociate.
Yeah.
In order to like
you
he's
can only
just
have
like
tuned in.
doing like other things and absorbing it, and we're trying to absorb it, and it's just like
Right.
we were trying too hard in other
Right.
words.
You know, this is whenever
You just
like
kinda gotta
my
go for the
gastro doctor is like, you gotta
Mhm.
take smaller bites to make it more digestible. You know,
Yeah.
it's easier on the track if you take big bites. If you're putting too much at once, it you know it hurts. Your body,
Yeah.
technically.
If it's tasty though.
Well, was this movie
Was
tasty?
this film tasty?
That's our question coming up soon. Fat
Oh,
Man Perfectly
man.
Fit. Shape of the movie. Start over on here, Mason.
It was fat. It was so fat. Oh my god. I think my main complaint, and it's kind of silly because it didn't bother me that bad, but a lot of his talent wasn't necessary. He didn't need to be a rock star. Like, he didn't need to be a neuroscientist. Like, he didn't need to be any of this stuff. He could have just been the Jason Bourne. He could have just been the guy that, the FBI calls to, like, clean up a job. Like, he could have done that. But it's the 80s, like, craziness. At the bar, there was a video game of Buckaroo Banzai. Did you guys see
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
No.
Like they
He
leaned
also
in
has
so
that
hard.
His own
Yeah,
comic.
he has a comic book.
Yes, and he does have
It's the latest issue.
Yeah, like everyone knows who he is. He's this famous guy.
He's
who's
literally
good at
Captain
everything.
America.
And he was so charming. I mean, my
Yeah,
God,
he
it
was.
just any scene he was in, he was just like, man, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
Like, he was Joe Cool.
This guy could have lit somebody's cigarette by kicking them at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's true. But
It is.
I think that this movie could have definitely been trimmed up in almost every single scene, just about really, because it was. I just didn't need all of it. And I think because we're so confused at the end of the day, it's because of all of that. Like, they were
Yeah.
pumping stuff into this movie. The science banter throughout the entire thing, it reminded me of The Big Bang Theory, a show that I despise
That's fair.
so much, because they just keep talking about quantum physics in joking way, and then they put a laugh track behind it, and you're just supposed to be like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah.
That's what this movie felt like, though, because none of it made sense. None of it made sense. It was fun. It was fun, but it was just like, I could have done without a lot of the banter. But they were talking about dimensions, so...
Yeah. I don't think this thing could be anything else but perfectly fit. I mean,
yeah, I mean, what am I thinking?
because here's, I mean, what do you cut? You know,
Not Jeff Goldblum.
do you
Not-
don't cut Goldblum.
No.
You don't cut
You cut the girl.
You don't cut the girl.
The girl made no sense.
The girl in the
and
band.
I'm okay with like
No,
the characters.
no, hear
You
me
could
out.
actually cut the girl and would not
Yeah,
change
the
anything.
girl didn't need to be.
No.
But, like, there was like no reason for
No,
her.
she's the only avenue of
She was a
like
pretty face.
where nudity could have been in this movie.
Very necessary.
And
Yeah.
that's where, if anything, it's a
I
little
did
thin.
know that she kind of lost more and more clothes as the movie went on.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
she didn't lose
This
that
movie's
much.
rated
but,
PG.
Yeah, like I was saying, she didn't lose that
To be
much.
fair,
but she did
depending
lose
on
Why
it
is she
slowly,
there?
Slowly.
Why is she there, Dylan?
Depending on the year, PG-13 may not have existed yet.
Well, you see,
In
this,
84?
84.
Mason,
I mean,
this
that's
movie
fine.
was made for and by 10-year-old boys, so that's the best
Right.
they could do.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's fair. I mean, I guess if I had to cut a couple things, I could argue it's fat, and I'd probably cut the girl, the band, maybe even the
band?
whole part where they're playing to her, and they have that whole little
Yeah,
part.
that was more of a her
Yeah,
scene.
that part, but like, I don't know. If you cut the fact that they're rock stars, it's not nearly as fun of a movie.
That was my favorite, like, them being
All right, fine.
together
Move it to the
moment.
end, and then they have a concert at the end. where they-
Okay,
right.
yeah, like allude to them being rock stars.
Like
Yeah.
the
but
Wicked
then the
Girls or whatever
performance-
Yeah.
from
yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
The Hex
Yeah,
Girls.
the Hex
Oh,
Girls.
That
Yeah,
was very necessary
we just
scene,
in the
too.
movie. Yeah, completely necessary for the plot.
It all comes back to the Hex Girls.
But the girl kills herself at the concert though. 'cause
Yeah,
that's-
so that's what I was gonna say. Like talking about it being rated PG.
Yeah.
Does like implied like suicide?
Is
Does,
both
playful.
where does that sit on like
Morals.
on
It was
PG?
the 80s. They didn't
yeah,
care.
PG-13
Yeah,
really
if it
didn't
wasn't
exist
drug.
for a while, so it's not gonna be
PG-13 didn't
R.
exist until '84, so it might have been right on the dot.
Oh yeah.
Maybe because of this movie.
Um,
Wouldn't
that be a
it
piece
was
of
this-
They
trivia?
saw this girl put a gun to her head and they were like, maybe we should add a step.
Yeah.
Maybe there's too much.
somewhere
Let me put something right here.
It's like they clearly didn't have enough to be R, but like, you can't have that for kids.
Couldn't
Yeah.
remember the exact movie that PG-13 was effectively invented for, but it was Red Dawn. War film.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
War films at the time were a little too graphic, so I remember thinking right around 83,
At the
84.
time, I feel like they were always probably.
Well, I guess they had been too graphic for too long, and then they're like, we've got to do something about
Yeah.
it. The the
we
Christian
want
parents said something.
13-year-olds to be able to enjoy these,
Yeah.
not 8-year-olds.
But these 12-year-olds
Yeah.
are getting off too hard on all the murder here.
You gotta start ramping up the like militarization
Yeah.
of your children
Yep.
at some point. And 13.
13's it.
13's the
That's
sweet spot
perfect.
of getting them fanatically locked in to be military. Anyway, so the movie's quite obese. Nathan.
No, it's fit.
What? I thought we were on the same team.
No, yeah, it's fit.
Yeah.
It's if anything, it's light. Like,
This could be a
Yeah,
three.
it's crazy.
The other
so
10
much.
This is 3 hours of things
Like,
that were so many.
you know, this
threads.
is light in the sense of there could have been 2 more movies after this. I'd watch them.
I know you would.
This movie is crazy. Like it is not what you would have expected either from the trailer. I feel like
I
mean,
disagree.
Like,
This is much of
yeah,
what I
the
expected.
trailer
from
does
it.
kind of go like, all right, we're in for something weird.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than you
It's
think.
so much
You're
weird.
right. Yeah,
Not the
trailer
tone.
Doesn't you know
Yeah, not
push
the
its hand
tone.
very much at all.
The tone I would have not bet on it, but the trailer implies I'm about to be on some sort of roller coaster of a bunch of nonsense, and that was very much what I
Yeah.
got on.
You know what I should have done?
What?
I should have downloaded that theme song from the trailer and made it as my ringtone and been
Ah.
like, Dylan, call me right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want that.
It's an
Yeah.
upbeat
That
song is
bop.
awesome.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Anyway.
do you want a fun trivia fact?
Sure.
Yes, please.
So the scene at the end where they're all like walking in with the music.
Right.
Originally it wasn't gonna end like that, but then I think the producers or someone said like, it needs a little something extra. So the end was just kind of like they just tacked that on at the
Yeah.
end because they thought it would be cool.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
That's how
And
most of this
I mean,
movie
It's
was
kinda-
shot.
Well, yeah, but it was just funny because they were like, it needs a little something. It's
Yeah.
kind of anticlimactic,
You ever-
and then they're like, oh, here we go.
Take a bite of soup and you're like, needs, you know.
yeah, exactly. That's how that scene happened.
Right. Jill, shape of the movie.
I guess it kind of has to be fit because it's both fat and thin at the same time.
Guess we're stupid.
I guess we're the dumbest men.
Guess we're really fucking
You see,
dumb.
it's
I was
fat
right the
because
first
a lot of
time, and then I
stuff
chose the
doesn't
wrong
need to be
answer.
there, but it's thin because like clearly there should be 10 more movies around it that it's missing. Therefore,
And we're in the
they
ninth of
cancel
the
each other
10th.
out to be a fit movie.
Yeah.
I agree that it's fit because it's. I don't know
He's
what
infected them with
you
it.
could do
That's the
to-
I'm so glad we went first.
yeah. This movie's confusing and weird, and it's like you're asking me, is this fat, thin, or perfectly fit? And I'm just gonna answer like, purple. Because I don't know. So I'd say it's fit because it's weird enough. It's just right. It's just right.
The porridge in the middle says 3/5 of this porridge of
If
this
you cut all
pork.
the stuff out that you don't think is necessary, it wouldn't be the same movie
It
anymore.
really wouldn't be fun without the unnecessary
Yeah.
stuff. Like if you were like, oh, they don't need to be a rock band. I'm like, but they kind of do because that makes it more absurd. If this was just like, I'm just a government agent and I'm really good at stuff, but not like extra arbitrary stuff, I'm like, that's less fun.
Mm.
I do have a question before we get into scores.
Was this movie tasty? Go.
Favorite character?
Oh.
Rawhide.
Clancy.
I'm actually still gonna land on the president because him having back injuries made him the most relatable character to me in this film.
Yeah, the president was really
He's
good.
funny too.
I like the government agent guy whenever he starts going through and just like bossing the people around quite a bit.
Mhm.
But I think for me, favorite character is John Big Booty.
Wait, which
Like,
one?
I
I don't know
love-
which one that is. I just know
I have
his
no
name.
idea.
Yeah, the name
I just
itself.
love that like the main villain is just constantly like complaining about John
John
Big
Big
Booty.
Yeah.
And just says his full name every
Yeah.
time.
It's Booty!
Yeah. Is it Italian? Is it French?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with John Connor, I guess.
Ah.
Which one was
Which
he?
one was he?
The black guy.
Which one
Oh,
was he?
okay.
He
Was
was the
he?
one with dreads. And
Oh,
yeah,
he
you're
was
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
did like his hand thing.
yes, and everything he did was like not so human. His running
Mm-hmm.
was like he looked like someone who
Yeah,
just
that-
got
that's-
access to legs.
That's true. He's the only alien that seemed to be doing things that just like why like he'd
Yeah.
be like doing this and
Mhm.
stuff. It's like what is he doing?
Yeah,
He's
like he's
showing
never.
he's not human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
He committed to the bit
He was good. Yeah.
way more than every other actor who
Yeah.
got that script. They're
Yeah,
like,
all the
"I'm not
other
gonna do that."
aliens. Maybe the sell for them is that they had been on Earth a long
Yep,
time. They
that's
were all like
exactly
wearing
it.
suits and stuff.
And this guy was kind of thrown into the scheme to win him over.
Which makes you wonder what their natural body language is like for that to
Yeah.
be what feels
I don't know.
right.
I saw the hologram. Maybe it's because I didn't have the bubble wrap tape.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you need the bubble wrap
You gotta
have
the
glasses.
bubble wrap tape.
I would have been
Just,
able to
like,
see it in the
look through.
different blends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, Mason, and Jill would have a hard time with that though, with regular glasses on.
Yeah.
It would just look like cataracts. You know what I
I
mean?
think it's hard regardless because all their bubble wrap maps, like the bubble stopped right in the middle.
I know.
Yeah.
You
Like,
better have
midway
been like an
through.
alligator
Yeah,
to been
it's
able to
like-
see
you
it.
kinda had to, like,
all of
look-
them had like a viewing hole, but it was always like right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Well, they clearly made them all the template without measuring and just like,
Yeah.
oh, there you
Yeah.
have
And then
them.
just stretched them
Yeah.
over
The
their
props
faces.
department cut them all universal. Just here, we got a lot of stuff to make for this movie. Just
Mhm.
push it out. Go.
Faces.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're.
Yeah. Oh, did I pick? Oh,
No.
definitely the child with the rifle. No, just kidding. Okay,
No.
who was the child? Why was there
Yeah,
a
who
kid
was the
there?
child?
Can
That-
anyone
the
explain
dad
the
was
kid
a
with
friend.
the gun?
It was like the kid of that dad
Yeah.
who was working on like the base that Buckaroo's.
Okay, so he was
people-
just like a random kid whose dad worked there.
Yeah.
basically.
So they gave a
Yeah.
random.
So
kid
they
a
just
giant
gave
gun.
this kid a gun.
In the 80s, it was
It,
different
it,
times.
it was like A-Team kind of vibes to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Him being there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
He didn't look 18 though.
He was.
A-Team?
Oh, 18.
yeah,
I
he
had
was not
18.
18. He was like 8.
Yeah, I was like, this is a child.
He-
What?
Yeah.
He's the demographic.
He was
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
As they were like storming the base, like they slapped a gun on him faster than anything.
Right, they're like,
they
"Here,
put a
kid."
vest on him and they
Right.
said, "Here,
Yeah.
you're one of us."
What if we find out he's
Go
the
for it,
director?
kid.
You know what I mean? Like,
He wrote it.
he wrote it and directed
Absolutely,
it.
he
Yeah.
wrote it.
10-year-old
He
kid
was
wrote the
given
movie.
like $10
That,
million.
you know,
so-
I could almost see that.
Honestly, yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels like it was written by a 10-year-old.
He didn't have enough
Like, it
lines
could be
to
one of
the
those deals where
director.
it's like somebody's, like a screenwriter's kid writes the story and they're like, you know what, I'm going to take this
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
This'll
turn
work.
it into like
Yeah,
a full
we're
story.
gonna edit it.
And then
Yeah.
we're gonna make this movie that you want to
Yeah.
see made.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's a scientist, but he's also a rock star.
And he has his own comic series, and he wears like he's
Yeah.
a samurai because he has
And
the
he's
samurai
married to a
sword.
princess.
Drives
Yeah.
really fast through a
Dies.
mountain. And yeah, no.
You're right. It could
Absolutely
happen.
written by a 10-year-old.
Mhm.
So much. It's just so much. Annabeth.
He's got to attack the aliens.
Annabeth?
Scores.
Scores. Okay. Oh, man. I'm gonna give it. Ooh, this is hard because I had a great time with it.
Oh.
It's honestly so bad, but also so much fun. I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
Yeah.
Because it's like not great. Like the writing is confusing and feels like you're coming in the middle of a series that just it doesn't exist. But it's so much fun. It was bizarre, and I like bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give it a 5.5 because it's kind of bad, but not that bad. Jill?
Can I give it 2 different scores?
No.
It needs
As
to
long
be
Based
as
on
there's
what?
a final
Actually,
one.
based
Jill
on
is
what?
splitting her
So
score.
like one score is like quality of movie, one score is enjoyability of movie.
Nah.
The same
No,
first score
no.
You have
is
to
like
factor them together.
no,
You
because like the
gotta-
first score is like you watch it alone. The second score is you watch it with a group of friends.
Mm.
Very
Yeah.
different vibes.
It
This
is,
is a
but-
great group of
But
friends.
based on
movie.
this most recent watch,
How'd you watch it? By yourself or with
I
these
watched
two?
it with Annabeth.
Just me,
Okay.
but I don't count.
you watch it with Annabeth. That's fair. You watched it with Annabeth, so it's got to be based on.
I'm gonna give both scores, but you can count my real score as the
Okay.
the second one I
the
give.
second one.
So the first score is like if you watch it alone, it will be a 0.
That's how
It's
I
a
watched
terrible
it.
movie.
Yeah.
If you watch it with friends, which is my enjoyability of this movie, and the actual score I'll give it is an 8.
An
Oh.
8! Oh
Oh my god.
You just said you didn't remember hardly anything from it.
I
Hey.
don't remember anything about this movie, but it was so enjoyable and stupid the whole way through.
I'll give you that one.
my god! An 8!
An 8.
You
when
gave
when
that
it had
higher?
the secret base that was like all completely misspelled, and they're talking about the watermelon they're walking
Okay,
through.
yeah.
It was
Don't
hilarious.
come in.
Don't come in.
Yes!
Dangerous or whatever it said at the bottom.
Yes!
Like, the movie was
Don't
just
come
like
in.
once I get over the
That's
fact
funny.
of being just kind of mad at how like weird it was, if you
Uh-huh.
stop taking it seriously at all, it's just enjoyable.
What about the meat like harness? That was like at the very end when they're in the spaceship and they're
It's just
And the
dangling
milk
around.
starts
Yeah.
pouring out of that like little pump thing too.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What is that?" It's like, "Oh, it's a
It's a-
dampening fluid."
it's a fluid.
Right.
Wait, can I talk about the watermelon real quick since
Yeah.
you mentioned it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the watermelon. Did you read the trivia for this too?
No.
Okay.
But he's like, I'll tell you later.
But I'll tell you.
Yeah, I love the scene. I was like, why is there a watermelon there? So that scene was because apparently at first the producers were like really overbearing and like picky, and then eventually they were just kind of giving up on this movie. And so they put the watermelon in the scene to see if the producers would notice.
Mhm.
Or
And
care.
they didn't.
Yeah.
And they said that's when the director and like everybody knew that they could do literally whatever they wanted.
That was the
because they were
threshold.
paying no attention.
Right.
It feels that way as the movie progresses. It just gets more and more
Absurd.
Absurd.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
watermelon really is the perfect metaphor for this movie,
Yeah.
and just for that, I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
It was sitting at 6.5 before, but it definitely it
Yeah.
solidifies itself because I teetered almost to going to 6 because what the fuck.
Yes.
There's so much Nathan talking about stuff. I'm like, what DLC
Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
buy?
That's what I'm saying.
What Wikipedia
I
did you
would've had
read?
to like watch
He had like
so
the
many
Wikipedia
videos.
article up next to it. as
Right.
he was watching.
That's
Yeah.
what it
That's
was.
the only
Playing a game,
that's the
reading
only
Wikipedia, watching a movie.
reasonable solution. You playing a video game walked away with more knowledge of this film than I did watching this film.
Yeah.
Zoned in, totally locked in. Yeah, what a I don't. Jeff Goldblum improvised every line he was
I
given.
love Jeff Goldblum.
That
He was
100%.
my actual favorite.
That he's pretty high up there in my favorites.
Also,
of
that
course.
ending scene alone just deserves an 8 for me.
yeah, the ending scene
It
was
was-
just so
it's great.
good.
I will say where it doesn't go higher than, let's say, like up to like a 7 for me was the enjoyability of honestly watching it alone. I'll say
I would
that.
tell you guys we could have watched it together.
We
Yeah,
could've. We
we-
suggested watching
I
it
think it
together.
would've
and
been
then
a
you
great
guys
time
walked
watching it
away.
together.
Nathan had a family thing.
No.
What are
we
we doing
didn't
right
know
now?
that when we made
I
the
didn't,
plan.
yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that when I made the plan, but yeah, it did work out.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so neither here nor there. My enjoyability of just watching it by myself and feeling like, oh, I'm having a fever dream while watching this film, and then being like, there's a lot of plots in this movie. There's several things that are just going on, and not one of them I feel like are following through, other than the alien one. That was like the consistent.
That was the
through
through
Pretty
line.
solid.
Yeah, the aliens were the through line through and through. But every time they did say the black aliens, I just remember like, Yeah.
Yeah, especially when one of them was like destroying all the. Yeah. I was just
Yeah.
Like,
There's some.
it's like you could have chosen a different color, man.
80s was a different time.
They could have been like the blue alien.
You know, but this is why it was Nathan's favorite time, because movies like this don't get made nowadays at least in the same way.
Because they let grown-ups write the movies now.
Yeah. After a while, once the
Mistake.
adults had burned down the producers' will to live.
With
Yeah.
watermelons.
Yeah,
With the
watermelons, they let the kid write the rest of the film. That's my only headcanon. He was the director and writer of this movie. 6.5, Mason.
I think as soon as you said the title and as soon as we saw the poster,
We knew.
I called it last week. It's a Tubi movie.
Uh-huh.
It's a Pluto. It's a Plex. It's any of those
I did
free
watch it on
ones.
Tubi.
Yeah, of course you did.
Same.
Where else are you gonna find stuff like
I
It's
this?
promise
on
you,
Tubi.
I could not find it anywhere.
This is insane. This type of movie is
I've
wild.
watched so many of these kinds of movies too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You guys haven't even seen
I know.
anywhere near
And
all of
I
my-
know
That's
we
the
have.
thing. I welcome movies like this. I think they are fun. They are enjoyable. But at the end of the day, it's a 5.5. I think
Okay.
the only thing that this movie really had going for it, obviously its set design was neat and the continuity was somewhat there. The only props I'm gonna give it was like the switching in between faces. Like for instance, if it was from
Oh, the human's perspective. was
Buckaroo's
Banzai's
Oh,
perspective
yeah.
to someone else, like you kept seeing John Connor as either the guy with the dreads or in alien form.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was neat like that. And even in the science lab, like at the very end, whenever they were getting the thruster thing, like they just kept swapping bodies, man. Like it was just, I thought that was actually kind of neat because if you were lost, at least at that point you knew what was happening, like
Right.
the oxygen or whatever with the vests. And as soon as you it was like the mouthpiece. I think you were able to see the aliens in their form.
Right.
But outside of that, man, this movie was just a trip. I wish if it had less going on, I would have enjoyed it quite a bit more. But it was for all those reasons I said earlier that it was a lot to chew on.
Mm-hmm.
Simplicity is key sometimes.
Yeah, less is more sometimes. Nathan said no.
More is more.
More is
More is
more.
more.
I need 10 movies.
Yeah, I need at least another hour to expand.
And I'll say I will watch another one. Or I would watch another one
Oh,
if it had the
yeah.
same cast.
Yes.
Yeah, if this had a sequel, I'd watch
Can
it.
they? What's the? Oh, I'm not gonna remember the name of it. It's like the My Summer Vacation one, where it's like a comedy one. I'll look that up later, and then I'll make Nathan edit it in. But where they did the, I mean, it was like an 80s, like 80 or 90 show that they did like in 2010s, and it was like 20 years
Oh,
different.
Hot American
My
Summer?
yes, my
Yeah.
my Wet Hot American
Yeah,
Summer.
that's
Yeah. I want them to do that for this, the 20 year later.
Oh, that would be
I mean,
crazy.
literally all the same cast, assuming
Oh.
how
yeah.
many of them are alive.
To see it from the lens of like nice cameras.
Yeah.
And what
I don't know, that
what
might
that
ruin
Ford
it.
Wrecker would look like nowadays.
It would. It probably would. It's like how I felt watching trailers for the Bill and Ted
Yes.
like sequel.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
So
It's Keanu, so
it,
probably
it
don't
does,
hate it.
It does that thing where you're like, oh no, it's gonna be a girl power movie. No, they're actually cool. Like them having like the daughters take the lead and everything, fantastic. Highly recommend it. Very good movie.
Wow.
You don't even have to watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's kind of
You'll probably you'll probably enjoy it more if you
Yeah.
did. But it's a really good film.
Oh, good to
You
know.
heard it here first, folks. Nathan endorses one movie starring women.
Yeah. That's it. Hey,
Rock-
this,
Approximately
that's
one.
a problem with women.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this movie did have a strong, independent woman. She was gonna kill herself.
She
had more
was
resolve.
she was at her wit's end.
And then she got rescued by a man.
Male.
Anyway,
Anyways,
so we're going to spin the wheel on this next one.
wait,
I didn't give a
give a
score.
score.
I know. I just had to get out of that.
just go ahead and
dicey.
hit that button for him.
Yeah. Nathan, can you give us a score under 20, please?
Anything under 20.
I
Okay.
mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's chaotic. It's got like one thing that I always really like to see in a movie is really interesting like set design, costuming, like just in like weird. Like when they're in the alien spaceship and they have those like trench coat jumpsuit things that they're like getting into, and it's like got all this like weird meat stuff hanging on it, and it's just like suspended.
The
and, like
harness.
you're seeing them like putting it on and it looking really big on
And
them.
they were, like,
being very
bouncing.
goofy.
Yeah.
They're like bouncing around too. Like all that shit, peak. Like that. I want that everywhere all the time.
Yes.
That is the most beautiful cinema that one can ever produce.
Uh-huh.
Like Space Truckers, another like just
Obvious.
Square
insanely
pigs.
amazing,
Yes.
over the top, excellent.
I went to Night of Square Pigs.
This, I mean, this is a little too chaotic. There's a lot of things where you could be like, maybe that's not so great, maybe that's not so great. I think overall I'm gonna land at like an 8.5 on it.
I'm happy for
He
you.
said I bought some spicy chicken, but it was a little too hot.
It was really
Yeah.
spicy,
Yeah.
but it's not in the fridge anymore.
It's just,
So
it's a lot to take in, and not all the acting is great in this. Which acting doesn't have to be great, but
Apparently nothing has to be really good.
No.
no.
According
In
to
fact,
these.
none of it has
I
to
will
be
say,
really
if you have
good.
really good acting in an absurd movie, it does make it better.
It does.
It does.
Yeah,
It
puts
does.
over.
Because if you really commit to it.
Yeah, you gotta commit. Like the guy who played John Connor.
Yeah.
He committed.
oh my god.
He's the only one that committed.
Yeah.
I could still see him running from like one set of shelter to another,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
like a spider. Just
Yes. Also, I'm surprised that this movie isn't kind of like a cult classic because there are so many things there that I was like, this should be a
If the
B.
name is
Yeah.
too long, that's why.
That's
Yeah.
why.
It has to be because like other ones are snappy.
Yeah.
I think Buckaroo Banzai probably
Just would've been that.
that word alone makes
Should
it hard
be.
for people
Yeah.
to grasp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't even say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were getting it flipped. It was Banzai Buckaroo or
Yeah.
whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And we all just watched it.
I know.
Most of us just watched it.
I think that Rocky Horror Picture Show took all of the niche fans of that time, and they were just like, don't watch anything else.
Don't watch
Or
it.
else.
There's a lot of stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of hits in the 80s that I think completely got missed.
Yeah.
Like, mentioning Space Truckers, I still think Space Truckers, like, you want to talk about a movie that should be way, way higher in, like,
The
renown
zeitgeist,
than
yeah.
where it is. That movie, like, wow.
Was that the one with Tywin Lannister?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Where he has to
the-
rev
the
himself
chainsaw.
up.
the
Oh,
chain things,
yeah.
And it starts glowing green.
Yeah.
beneath the screen.
Which
See,
was-
that's my issue because I don't remember that movie that much.
But you remember that.
I
I
remember
remember that,
movie.
and I remember the space or the square
square
pigs.
pigs.
Square pig.
The,
Yeah.
the space cat,
The diner.
space diner that's like
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
and they
The
had a
diner
fight
was sick.
there.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
diner
That
was
was cool.
Yeah.
And their costume design was neat. That's all I really remember.
I just remember thinking, green was an interesting choice for
Goop.
color on it, right?
Yeah.
Most other colors are probably better, but green. Let's spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. How tight is it, Nathan? Is it gonna spin one rotation at least?
We'll find out.
You do it again.
I haven't got a spin in a while, and I needed to get my
Mine
slice
is
back.
bad.
See, there you go.
Wait,
Alright.
is
Is that
this
you,
another
Zach?
Nathan pick?
No, no.
No, this is my pick.
Oh,
Okay.
Guesses?
So
Lying is bad. I'm gonna-
So the thing says lying
Liar,
is bad.
liar.
I was gonna say liar, liar.
I'm going with
The
Pinocchio.
invention of lying.
Ooh, all those are. I don't have anything else.
Uh,
Those are all great.
Big fat liar.
I hope not.
with Paul Giamatti?
Yeah. Is that what it is?
It's not.
Oh.
That
Okay.
movie sucked.
Some girls in it too.
Yeah, some girl. Oh,
Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz was in
And-
some
some
girl.
girl.
Wait.
Oh,
That's not
yeah.
the one that Hillary Duff was in.
Hillary,
right?
yeah, I
No.
think it might have been Hillary Duff. Anyways, that's not the movie we're
Anyway.
reviewing. Since we're creeping into spooky season, for those wondering, by this time it'll be like December. But
Right, spooky season.
yeah, for
December-
us,
December is generous.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're creeping into October, so I would be remiss not to pick one of the most horrific animated movies ever made, which is in fact the original Pinocchio.
Yay, I guessed right.
Yeah,
Good job.
Like the original, like Disney animated.
Like
Disney
Pinocchio.
animated on
Okay.
Disney Plus Pinocchio.
Okay.
I think that's up
Fun.
there. It is up there.
It is.
Oh, we're watching
Yeah.
this on VHS.
And we're watching it on
VHS.
VHS.
This
You
is
know,
just for
I
the VHS
just got
podcast.
these like right before we started this round.
And
of
we've-
this
I've had-
I
stuff.
think it affected what we picked.
Yeah.
It must have.
I'm
This
2 for
subliminal
like
message
10 right now on,
Yeah.
on just this season's
Yeah.
alone. So,
That's great.
no, I wanted to pick this scary movie.
Okay. I mean,
And
valid. That donkey scene is pretty scary.
Pleasure Island is terrifying. Monstro is scary as shit. Every bit of, like, this movie is horrific.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that.
I'm here
not
for it.
Like, when you guys watch it again, because this is a big thing for me. I want you guys to go into it and be like, convince me it's not a horror movie after you watch it.
Yes.
I've seen it, so I'll give it to you.
Oh, bro, you're
I'll
gonna
give it
go on
to
a
you
ride. You
Wait,
thought...
you've never seen Pinocchio?
No.
Oh,
I saw
I
the
cannot
movie.
So
wait
much
for
Disney
this.
lore or Disney like learning.
Yeah.
It's Small Soldiers is not Disney.
No,
But it's
not.
I have that on my
We
list
can
Yeah,
watch
now.
that.
I've watched that recently.
Small
Yeah.
Soldiers is a trip.
That's a
Nice.
scary-ish
Yeah.
movie.
That one's much more military.
I played a PC game of it whenever I was a little kid.
Yeah, there
so
was the
much.
small
It was
phone.
so good.
Yeah. Anyway, so make sure to tune in next time for Pinocchio. If you like the content that we're doing, let us know in the comments below what you think. Did you ever watch this movie? Could you find this movie?
It's
outside
on
of-
Tubi.
It's on Tubi for
It's
free.
expiring in
This
2
movie.
days.
Oh,
No,
watch
one of
it
them was like
fast.
today.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
On Just Watch, it was like expiring tomorrow, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Man.
oh shoot.
Yep.
How are we gonna watch it again now?
I know. Well, Pluto.
Nathan's gonna be busy for the next 48 hours.
I know.
Yeah, that's all he's gonna.
He's just gonna be watching it on loop, which
He's
is
gonna find it and buy it.
yeah.
It's
You know
gonna go
what?
Right there.
That's more
on
like
If you-
VHS.
On
If you
VHS.
have this on VHS, let us know in the comments below. We will buy it
Please.
We want a
at
picture.
value.
So, just as a reminder, the reason I even picked this movie to begin with was because it was a DVD that had video
Yeah,
games in it.
That's
Was how it was sold,
right.
and it was one of like 4 or 5 that were ever made, including Doctor Dolittle too.
But
So, if there is something worth having,
yeah.
it is
Maybe
the
that's
DVD
where all the
copy of
backstory
this.
is. It's in
Right.
the video.
It's in the video.
It's in Dr.
game.
Dolittle,
Oh,
too.
maybe it
It's
is.
yeah.
In fact, even better, if you have the DVD of it, and
Can you send it to us?
can you send it to
Yeah.
us and put us on a link to where we can buy the DVD player? If you have that one as well, then
Also
play
send
the
that
game.
one too. Yeah.
Just send that.
Yeah.
We'll
We're not gonna
Venmo
pay you.
Do we have loyal fans that send us gifts now? I mean,
Maybe.
send that
maybe.
DVD. Come on.
Annabeth, if you put your feet a little bit more on screen, we might.
No,
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, here's Nathan's foot. You can have that.
even better. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're creeping our way ever closer to 420. Make sure to hit the bell. Hit Joe. Hit her.
Don't even dare.
Thank you. And to be notified whenever our next video comes up. Until next time, guys, we will catch you with the start of spooky season, now starting in 2025, when these actually air, with Pinocchio.
All right.
Bye, guys!
Bye.
No.
Jill, I love that you rated that higher than both of your picks.
Yeah.
I